Everything. That's what I want to talk to you about today. How are you? It is Monday morning. Set your goals for the week. If you don't have your goal for the week set. It is a fact when you have a goal, you will sell more, you will do more, you will get more accomplished than if you do not have goals. Now, that's a challenge because goals sometimes cause me anxiety. Sometimes setting a goal makes me nervous, right? It makes me a little anxious. I tend to be an anxious person. And so, but you got to do it. You got to if you set a goal, you will make more than if you just don't have a freaking goal. And it's hard. I forget to set goals. I forget. I don't know if you do, but yeah, I forget. Um, so you got to set your goal for the week. Now, the pitch is everything, but it's not. And what I mean by that is your relationship with your audience, the trust, the old thing, the know, like, and trust that you build with your audience. This is very important, but it's not everything, right? The pitch is virtually everything, but it assumes a foundation of know, like, and trust, right? Like, because you could only sell a dead duck once. You can only sell a crappy product once, and people probably won't give you a second shot, right? So the know, like, and trust and fulfilling, which creates know, like, and trust, and fulfilling something that's valuable. This is just assumed in business. Some people don't get this. They're like, they don't understand you've got to deliver the goods. You just got to. But assuming that you're doing that, the pitch is freaking everything once the other elements are in place. You see, because if you're pitching to a group of unqualified people, you're pitching Lamborghinis to broke people. You could have the best pitch in the world. Ain't no sales going down. Unless they got good credit, right? Ain't no sales going down. And so you have foundational things, know, like, and trust, fulfilling, over delivering, baker's dozen. You always want to try to deliver a baker's dozen, meaning, somebody orders a dozen cookies, you deliver 13. That's a baker's dozen, right? You always deliver a baker's dozen. Always deliver a baker's dozen. It's just a rule of life, right? It's like building your audience every day. It's just you just got to make it so you just do it. Like, you don't even think about it. You just do it as a fact of life. But now, assuming you're delivering a baker's dozen, assuming that you've got an audience of true potential buyers, and that's a real freaking art form, right? Like being able to pull in and attract magnetically your audience, or go out and get your audience proactively. I don't freaking care how you get the audience, as long as it's ethical and moral. You got to have the audience of potential buyers, because otherwise the pitch don't matter. Right. And so the people who make the most money and make it look effortless, right? Number one, good God, they are good at attracting magnetically their ideal audience, or going out and getting them through ads and stuff, right? Because the reason their pitches always make so much money is because they got the people there with the need, the interest, the money, right? They're a qualified prospect. The old thing was budget, authority, need, and I forget what the heck T is, right? Timing, BANT. They meet the BANT qualification. So these people that there's people who are just born. I'm not a born natural. In fact, I'm the opposite of a born natural. Everything, single cotton picking thing in marketing that I do was learned. Usually learned the hard way. Usually learned 5 times longer than what you're afraid it's going to take you to learn it. That's how I learned. I wasn't a born marketer whatsoever. I was just passionate about it. I was your destiny sometimes, and there's a difference between destiny and fate. And what you choose to be your destiny, right? By like go and triple go, Marlon. Hey, David, what's up, dog? By like destiny, I was supposed to be like a minister and things. But my grandfather was a justice of the peace, a very prosperous one. And then he had the good common sense to try to be a farmer and everything went horribly, incredibly downhill. It was a very tragic story. He was a very prosperous photographer and justice of the peace, right? But I couldn't do it. I couldn't listen to people's problems all day long. Now my uncle was basically a born salesperson without really any training. He started out selling insurance to people who dug ditches, construction workers, worked his way up to the president of that company. And by the time he passed on, he was over a crap load of insurance company. He was the insurance executive of the year several times, at a jet airplane, all of that. No training. He also only needed 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night. Like, it was freakish. He could work like unbelievable hours. But he was just a natural. He just knew how to sell people. Like, he saved a seminary once because in California, they were going to go bankrupt. He goes in and in a weekend raises money to save the seminary just by meeting with 3 or 4 rich people and asking for the money. He had that. So I was not a born natural. I had like none of his sales talent. Everything I do is learn. So if you love it, you can learn. Right now, be that as it may, at the end of the day, you got to get your audience. You got to be able to pitch. You got to be able to sell. Now, David is on. David is like, I don't know if he's a born natural salesperson or not. He's enormously good. I don't know if that was a learned skill or not. He's enormously good at like seminar sales, right? I think it just comes very naturally to him. But that doesn't mean you can't learn these skills. These skills can all be learned. Now, it comes naturally to some people, but they can all be learned. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, yeah, you got to have your audience. You gotta have know, like, and trust them. You got to have all the foundation in place, but then you got to be able to pitch and sell. Now, see, most of my life, I've been a copywriter because I'm really not good at verbal selling. Let me reframe that. In the past, I was not good at verbal selling because it was a talent I hadn't focused on acquiring. Not that I couldn't be, right? I'm better at it now. But I still wouldn't call it my forte, right? But I'm a copywriter. So I sell by writing words. I sell, for the most part, by writing copy, but I know how to do video sales letters now and webinars now, and I can sell that way, right? In fact, I kind of rather enjoy doing video sales letters now because I understand the psychology of them, right? But you got to be able to pitch. If you can't pitch, you're going to freaking starve in this business. Hey, Rick, how you doing? Just deliver the baker's dozen. You always deliver a baker's dozen. Like, there's never a scenario in which you don't deliver a baker's dozen. There's just not. I'm not saying I've always 100% of the time delivered a baker's dozen. I can tell you 100% of the time it's my goal or objective, right? We're all human and we all like fall down and maybe we don't deliver the best on this or that little part of a product. I can tell you though, as the main deliverable, virtually every product I do at least delivers on the big main promise, right? But yeah, you always want to do a baker's dozen. But that's just assumed. That's just like foundational, right? You just do that stuff. You treat your customers right because they're your cash cows. Like, why would you abuse a cash cow that's giving you milk every day and then not feed them or do something to them that makes them not in the mood to produce milk? They're your freaking cash cow. You're going to love and take care of those cash cows, right? That's what your customers are. Now, it's jaded to look at your customers as just cash cows. They're people. But having said that, you got to take care of them. Now, but the pitch is everything. Now, the people you see that make the most money, typically, let's just be honest here, not all of them, but most of them, were very natural salespeople with very natural skills, but some of them acquired the skills. They bring it to internet marketing and they make it look easy, right? For example, I'll use the example of Katrina Ruth. I think she's a great salesperson. Now, I don't know. There may be people that disagree with me. I don't know everything about Katrina's business. I don't know how well she does. I know what she says she does, right? And she appears to be a really outstanding marketer. I haven't seen any signal that says anything otherwise, right? Now, she was in fitness a long time, And you will find, especially people like who were, say, in fitness, they're really good at selling because they had to close those deals over and over and over and over till it was like second nature. Bedros Keuilian's a well-known marketing trainer. Bedros has his roots in fitness. A lot of people had their roots in fitness. Now, magicians also do, Rick, very well in our business, but for a very different reason. I think magicians are maybe not so good at the selling part, but they're very good at understanding the overall idea of the business, which is that people want to be entertained and they want to be surprised and they want to have an endorphin rush. Like nobody wants to pay money to be bored to freaking tears. I mean, nobody wants to pay money to be bored to freaking tears. So you can deliver a baker's dozen, but if they're bored to tears and stop going through the product before they ever get to the baker's dozen, then you lost. You see, so magicians tend to do very well because they understand entertaining and so forth. And then people like wrestlers, like Russell Brunson, they can do really well in our business. A lot of people do well in our business. Wrestlers do well because they're just so freaking competitive and they believe in winning. Like you don't want to compete against Russell Brunson, right? Teachers can do very well in our business because they're so good at teaching. Their products tend to be really great. They can also be good at selling because they're very patient, very thorough, really help people who have some resistance or don't understand. They help bring them to an understanding, right? So they can do a lot of people can do really well in our business. You have to find out what your skill and ability is and apply that. But at the end of the day, you must sell. If you don't sell, you starve. Right now, so some people are like, oh, you don't have to sell. You put a good product out there that meets their needs and they're going to buy it. Well, that's just crap. And other people are like, well, I'm going to show you the no pitch, the no sell. Well, you know what? No. Like it. I'll give you the example. Travis Sago makes selling sound so unbelievably easy. Now, and I love Travis. I think the world of Travis. He is one of the very, very best in the world, in my opinion, at this game that we do. I'm not saying as an entrepreneur in general, because when you go into the whole entrepreneur in general thing, you go into business builders, right? Who know how to raise money and run huge teams and hire and manage huge teams. It's not that. Our game is more like this business of creating, selling information products and coaching. He's one of the very best. He makes selling look so simple. Now, he has a really great system for making it simple for the help, showing other people how to make it simple. He has what I call conscious competence. You become competent, but you're conscious about how you became competent so you can teach it to other people. Some people claim they're consciously competent, but they don't even know. They're not even conscious enough to know they're not conscious. I've seen that. Oh, yeah, I'm consciously competent. I can teach it to other people. No, you're not consciously competent. You have no freaking clue how to teach what you do to other people. All right. So the other thing so let me tell you, I have my 10-day challenge is up, resellertoolkit.com/10 days. We're going to meet on live streams outside of this group for 10 days, and you're going to launch. It's accountability type thing. I'll be training you. You got a stocked members area with great stuff in it. resellertoolkit.com/10 days. It's $100. If that blows you out of the water, then don't buy it. Like, you should make a couple sales and pay for it. If you launch, you'll make but I'll also say it's worth $100, even if you launched, even if you didn't make a sale, but to get the skills to launch, where then you can keep launching until you learn how to do it right. That's worth $100. Like, I put this out to my list. Honestly, I thought it would sell like hotcakes, and instead it's like, it's a challenge. It's a challenge sell, right? I got to raise my game to be able to sell it, right? Because I called it the 10-day easy launch system. And it's like, I understand my customers. My customers are driven by endorphin a lot. God bless. I love my customers, right? But they're driven by endorphin. And like launching in 10 days, number one, it's 10 days. Well, I want something faster. That sounds like work. Number two, that doesn't sound easy, even though you say it's easy. I don't know, Marlon, it's 10 days. And then number three, well, yeah, I already know how to launch, right? There's no endorphin rush there, right? Like my best products are like the strange ritual. They tend to be is what's that? Or like the the one sheet persuasion system. Well, what's the one sheet, right? It's like this real, it's called cognitive dissonance. It really creates this huge cognitive dissonance that you don't know what something is, and you got to find out and understand what's up. The rising tide, therisingtide.com. What the world is the rising tide? Well, you don't find out till you freaking buy the product. It's called a blind offer. I don't typically do fully blind offers. I do like semi-blind offers, right? Just the word blind makes me nervous. My grandfather was, I told you, he inherited the freaking farm and he went blind because the whip went back as I got a Z. It was just a nightmare story. Why? And he was a successful, prosperous justice of the peace. Sometimes sometimes you find your destiny. Sometimes your destiny finds you, and sometimes you screw up and you don't never find your destiny. And you're like my grandfather was, right? In my case, I just chose my destiny. It's like, no, I'm supposed to be a pastor or minister or whatever, but I'm not going to be. I can't do it. I can't listen to people's problems all day. I can't marry people. I can't do any of this. I just can't. All right. So, and I loved marketing. I was absolutely horrible at it. I walk like 3 miles trying to sell magazines so I could win the mirror ball in the 7th grade for the band. And then one person bought magazines from me. I worked so freaking hard to fill a magazine. Good God. It's a freaking nightmare. Yeah, none of it came natural to me. So you can get there if you work, number one. Number two, you got to learn how to pitch and sell, right? I love hearing really great people pitch and sell. I love hearing Frank Kern do video sales letters. I don't know that there's anybody out there better at doing video sales letters than Frank. I'm sure there's people that think they are. Maybe there are. Maybe there are. I know people with a lot more ego about how well they do video sales letters than Frank. I know people with a lot more testosterone about how great they are at doing video sales letters. Maybe I know people that do video sales letters by a really big company that does enormous, huge, massive marketing for it, so they have huge sales. All right. But I'm just talking about how skilled the video sales letter is. And he does, like, I can write letters like Frank does video sales letters. I write letters in my sleep. I've been writing since age 18. It's just innate to me now. It wasn't in the beginning, trust me. But that's how good Frank is. I just watch those. Like I was watching, I love watching him. I take notes. I love that stuff, right? So, because I love hearing a great pitch, and you've got to learn to love it. You got to learn to love it, because if you can't sell, you won't make money in this bit. It boils down to the pitch. Yes, you got to be able to attract the eyeballs by having a message that's magnetic to people that they want to hear. Some people would be jaded and say by telling people what they want to hear. I really don't break it down like that, because that can cross the borderline from ethical to unethical to illegal. It goes ethical. The gray line is unethical but legal. The red line is it ain't freaking legal, right? So I don't look at it that way, but I look like your message has to sell the sizzle, not the steak. And I have this problem. Like, I like selling the steak. I like that, because to me, I know the steak is freaking important. Freaking important. But they don't want it like 10 days, launch in 10 days. That's a freaking important product. Do you understand? If you can't launch in 10 days, you ain't going to make money in this business. You should be able to launch in 3 hours. I didn't call it launch in 3 hours because nobody would believe it. That's the truth. You can launch in 3 hours. I give them a bonus. One of the bonuses, I got a bunch of bonuses, and they're launching 6.5 hours of bonus. People probably don't believe this. So I called it launch in 10 days because believe. But there's no sexiness to it. Russell Brunson calls it sexiness, and Russell's brilliant. I love Russell. He's somewhat of a friend. I mean, he's so busy. I don't sit here and try and be his bosom buddy friend, but we're friends, right? I've known him forever. He calls it the line. He has a line. I think he calls it the what the heck does he call it? I can't remember the name that he calls this line, but over here is boring. Over here is off the edge of the moon. You want to be like here. You want to be edgy. my problem is launch in 10 days is over here on the boring side. Oh yeah, Marlon, launch in 10 days. Like I freaking want to launch in 10 days. That sounds like work. I don't want to do that. I don't know how to create the product. It's going to be too hard. It's going to take too long. Now, those are all things I solve in the product, but I tell them that up front, but they probably don't freaking believe it right now. Over here is off the edge of the moon. The 60-second launch. I mean, okay, because again, you have the ethical, the unethical, and then the illegal. Like the 60-second launch, man, somewhere in there it ain't legal. I don't know where, but you never it's like always deliver the baker's dozen. Always stay to the left of the freaking red line. You ain't never cross. You got to know up front what you won't do to make money in business. You got to know what you won't. What will you not do to make money? I will not cross the freaking red line. Won't do. You got to know what you won't do to make money. You will not cross the freaking red line. You got to stay on the legal side. I don't know that a 60-second launch is illegal. It's certainly like you're right. I mean, you could sit there and argue that you could do it because you could have the product for them, the sales that are for it. All they got to do is put in their affiliate code or something and they launched, right? But you got to stay on this. Anyway, the problem is launch in 10 days isn't sexy. I may even change the name. Probably should change it. I should have called it I need to call it something sexier. We have people signed up, but not there yet. I want like a nice group signed up so we have a nice active Facebook group. But over here, over-promising that you can't deliver. No, I'm not on board with that. But you got to keep it sexy. Somehow you gotta take your idea, what you're selling, you gotta sexify it. If you're not selling, you probably didn't sexify it enough, right? If you got the FTC sending you letters, you sexified it too much, and now you're screwed. People in our business got letters in the past 3 months because they sexified it too freaking much, right? But you got to sexify it, meaning Alex Hermosi's thing about the offer, making it faster, make it simpler, make it easy, no sacrifice, get the instant result, and those things all make it sexier. Oh, I don't have to expend any effort and I'm going to get this big result and it's going to be so easy. I can do it. I can sneeze and money will fall down from the freaking air. Yeah, but you cross the red line, right? You cross the red line. And so, I don't even know what the red line is. Whatever it is, don't cross it. I don't know what the red line actually is, right? But I don't even know where the expression came from. Hopefully it's not something tragic. But this is it. You have to sexify your offer, right? And so, but I hope you all come to launch in 10 days. Resellertoolkit.com/10 days. And it's just $100. You get the bonuses are worth more than $100 without the 10 days of the live streams, right? But yeah, you got to find a way to keep. This is I think Russell Brunson calls it the prolific. It's in Expert Secrets. I think I believe that's in Expert Secrets. It's such a critical, important concept that Russell teaches there, right? Because if you're over here on the boring, I'm selling, and it's like meat and potatoes, and it's boring. In today's world, you're just not going to sell. Like you can actually be a really great copywriter and everything. You're not going to sell. It's going to be painful. It's just like you just, you just can't. And so you got to make it something that really sounds different to people, that's really attractive, that really does give them some endorphins when they buy it. Oh, I'm so excited about getting it. They'll learn something new. New ideas are what gives people endorphins. Launch in 10 days, not a new idea. I love the idea. Launch in 10 days. It's steak and potatoes. It's meat, right? But no, there's no endorphin rush there, really, right? But you got to kind of position your product. Most of my products are an endorphin rush, right? The Amazing Formula sells products like crazy. Wow, I want to sell my products like crazy. There's a formula. I do this formula. I sell my products like crazy. Your products sell like crazy. You tip your money back. Oh my God, that sounds freaking unbelievable, right? I mean, I sit here and go through every single one of my products, virtually every product that I've had that sold really well. Push button letters. Tell them like think about getting sales letter for your product or service. And you just go down the rush. They're like they go down the line. Most all of them are endorphin. Now there's people better at endorphin rushes than I am. There's always people better than you, first of all. And I love learning from them. That doesn't bother me. I happen to know that I came from nothing. I came from having no freaking innate talent at all for selling. I mean, at all. I can sit here and tell you all the stories. I put 30,000 miles on my car for John Hancock Insurance. Only sold one homeowner's insurance on a wooden house about to burn down that my company didn't want to cover. I had a full-time telemarketing machine going at night. I mean, I sit here and tell you all the things. I was not, I was, so, yeah, there's people that sell a lot more from me. They were like, had one heck of a lot of natural skill. And they probably can't even teach it because it just comes so easy to them. And so naturally, they don't freaking know how they do it. They just do it, right? I don't know. I just do it. People just buy. I just talk and people buy, right? You see, if you went from just being horribly awful at something to being really good at it, then you know how you got there. You know the steps that it took, sometimes inordinately, incredibly painful steps, more freaking painful than you could ever imagine, because when you really, really, really want something, you ain't got it. It hurts. It hurts psychologically. It hurts mentally, right? And so, but you know how you got there, and you know how you went from pain to getting out of pain, right? And so anyway, you got to know how to sell. And if you can't sell, you die. You can't sell, you die in business. You can't sell, you starve in business. And one of the keys to selling is having the magnetic audience that you attract. Another key to selling and what attracts people is that sexy thing. Again, Russell Brunson 101, right? You may not like Russell or not. Russell's freaking brilliant. He's a very brilliant guy. But from boring to edge of the moon offer that people won't believe, it's just too much. Just it's falling off the edge of the moon, man. I mean, come on, dog. That offer is just off the edge of the moon, right? You got to put it somewhere. You got to, it's like it's a bad analogy. I'm trying to think of the non-sexist analogy. It's like dressing for a date. I said everybody always uses the example of the woman. I'll use the example of the man. Let's say you're just ripped. Let's say you're just ripped. Your body's just ripped with muscles. I mean, you're like a Greek damn god, right? On the date, are you wearing the little t-shirt the first date that shows off every freaking muscle in your body and it's a half shirt? Or, are you wearing a shirt and it's nice, but it's nice fitting and you can definitely tell that you have a good, you're probably dressing that way on the first date, right? But you're still showing off your assets just tastefully, right? I mean, if you're wearing big bulky clothes, you just look ugly as heck. Yeah, maybe not. But so you're trying to be sexy, but you're not trying to be off the edge of the moon. But if you're not sexy enough, ain't no one buys. Ain't nobody like it's hard to sell. Like if I could go out on a street corner with a carton of eggs and be like, eggs for sale, $3, and they're selling at the store for 10, you probably still won't sell them. I don't know. So anyway, that's where we're at today, guys. You got to learn to sell, and it's an art. It's an art, and there's a science to it too. But largely, it's an art, guys. Largely, it's an art. All right, that's it. That's all you get today. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a great day. Resellertoolkit.com/10 days if you want to get